What's going on, everybody? Kennybomb is in the building, and ever since we entered Liu Kang's new universe, we saw a few Mortal Kombat characters get hit with gender swaps. We saw this with Sector, we saw this with Cyrax, we got a little taste of it on the cameo roster with Janet Cage, but if you think this is the end of it, then I got some bad news for you. Well, not officially, but I think there are still some characters in the danger zone, and today, I'm going to tell you exactly who those characters are. But first, don't forget to drop a like on this video and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, especially if you don't want to miss any updates on Mortal Kombat 1. Now let's get into it.
Man, boy, they coming on.
Alright, so of course we gotta come to the Hourglass because this thing being in the hands of Liu Kang is the reason for all of these gender mix-ups in the first place. And I know a lot of people don't like them, but I will say some of them actually turned out great. I'll say Sector was a big plus, Cyrax, the verdict's still out, so we'll see. But as stated, I don't think the characters we've seen changed in Mortal Kombat 1 will be the only characters we see reimagined. Some of them have even been hinted. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first one, and that is Bo' Rai Cho. Now, this one wasn't really hinted at or teased. I think this is more assumption and speculation because Bo' Rai Cho was really close to Liu Kang since he trained him, and Liu Kang seems to be really close to Madame Bo. Now, the first flag is obviously the fact that her name is Bo. You got Madame Bo and Bo' Rai Cho. The second flag is the fact that she's not just an old lady, she's actually a warrior. She's a Lin Kuei warrior. Now, of course, Bo' Rai Cho was not from the Lin Kuei, he was from Outworld and came to Earthrealm to train these Earthrealm warriors, but as we've seen with some of these other characters, origins can change. Cyrax is now in the Shirai Ryu, which is led by Kuai Liang. If that doesn't tell you what you need to know, then I don't know what else to tell you. But how does changing Bo' Rai Cho into a woman affect the Mortal Kombat roster moving forward? I don't think the problem is changing him to a woman. I think the problem would be more changing him into Madame Bo, because he's a drunken master, which is very unique to the Mortal Kombat roster. He's out here drinking, he's out here farting and throwing up all over the place, and I just don't think that's something we can see even if they did put Madame Bo on the roster. Now, we've seen her smoking a little bit, but I don't think we've seen her get drunk or drink anything yet. In fact, we most definitely haven't. So could they do it and make that change in her character? Absolutely, but if they did not, and they just keep her as is, and she in fact is the new Bo' Rai Cho, then we just lost our drunken master. And this is a character arc that you see in a lot of fighting games. Tekken has one, Virtual Fighter had their drunken master, and Bo' Rai Cho was ours. I'm not a big fan of Bo' Rai Cho, but I think that type of character definitely fits in these fighting games, so we need Madame Bo to pick up a flask and get busy. But let's go ahead and move to the next one. Whew. Now look, I thought this one was never going to happen, but now I'm getting to the point where I'm feeling like it's pretty much locked in. I think Fujin is definitely going to become a woman. Now, Fujin was Raiden's brother, of course, and in some of these character interactions, we hear them talking about Raiden's sister now. My only problem with that is, Fujin was the god of wind. Now, we know Raiden gave his power to Liu Kang, but if Fujin is a god, why would he have to give up his powers just because Raiden did? Unless, with this being Liu Kang's universe, he gets to pick the gods too. But I don't know, because Fujin may have voluntarily gave up his power as well. Just looking at his ending in Mortal Kombat 11, it seems like not only did he want to understand humanity more, he also kind of wanted to try being a woman. Let's check that out.
But while I had grown to appreciate mortals deeply, I understood precious little about their daily existence. So I used the Hourglass to live hundreds of thousands of lifetimes, to expand the possibilities of realm, race, gender, and faith.
So Liu Kang gets control of the Hourglass, and he wants to stop the violence and bring peace to the world. But Fujin, he just wants to explore the realms, change his race, and change his gender a few times. I guess good thing we're living in Liu Kang's new universe, right? But this tells you, Fujin is curious. So it's possible, or maybe even likely, that Fujin shows up as a woman in Liu Kang's new universe. But he was curious about exploring races as well, so I don't know. Maybe he shows up as Raiden's half-black sister. We'll see. The next one we have is a bit of a wobbler. So we got Cassie Cage and we got Jackie Briggs. Now these two can definitely survive as they are. In fact, I think Cassie Cage might just be the best new character they introduced since things got reset in Mortal Kombat 9. Beauty of Sonya Blade, personality of Johnny Cage, and she feels very modern with the selfies and everything. I love the way they did her character. Jackie Briggs, I think she can have a little bit more personality. How do you do that? I think it'll be pretty cool for Jax to have a son. Especially if Liu Kang prevents Jax from losing his arms in this universe, but instead, it ends up happening to his son. I think there's a pretty interesting story you can tell there. So, Jackie Briggs, Cassie Cage, I think because they are women and they are going to want more women on this roster, they may be safe, but Jackie Briggs is one that I would actually like to see gender bent. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Nightwolf is in trouble. I don't see them teasing him saying Nightwolf is a mano and anybody can pick it up just to have him drop it and show us a female Nightwolf for them not to make it happen. Let's run the clip.
Even here, at time's beginning, the Great Spirit's wisdom guides me. She calls me to restore history. The Matoka, I must leave to another. To the next Nightwolf. Like all our sacred relics, the Nightwolf mantle belongs to the tribe. Any Matokan can prove worthy of its power. I enjoy imagining who will defend us next.
Now, Nightwolf was my brother's favorite character growing up, and I'm sure there's a lot of y'all who love him as well, but I'm telling you this right now. If Nightwolf shows up as a cameo on the Mortal Kombat 1 roster, then you better be prepared. Because just like we saw with Sector and Cyrax, they both showed up on the cameo rosters in their original form and popped up on the main roster as women. I think we might see Nightwolf on the cameo roster in his original form and on the base roster, whether it be in Mortal Kombat 13 or if we get another story expansion, we might even see her there as well. But let's go ahead and move on to our next subject. And I will say this one is unlikely, but it's 2024, so anything is possible. The next one we have is Kano. Now think about it. Who is Kano's biggest op? It's Sonya Blade. You know what? I was going to say, do you really want to see this man beating up this woman in Mortal Kombat story? But as we saw in Chaos Reigns, the women beat up all the men now. So we're going to take Kano off the table. But I did actually find a pretty cool female Kano design here. Big shouts out to Combat God who crafted this Kana. And you know what? I could see Kano as a mean, nasty woman kind of leading the army behind her. But maybe you don't have to gender swap her. You could just make a new character, have Kano, and give him a twin sister. Ooh, I think that would be crazy. Kano six his twin sister on Sonya Blade. So there we go. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a full gender swap. We can do like the Janet Cage thing where she was just on the cameo roster. Add a new character who is Kano's sister. And that's actually a great way to get him some help because Sonya's been kicking his butt since the beginning of time. But now we got to move on to the last one, y'all. And this one pains me to my soul. Because they killed Bihan. And there is no sights of another Sub-Zero. First of all, how do you make this man the most interesting character in the universe and you just kill him in the first game back? And look at him. I mean, the man's an angel. He's done nothing wrong. But Liu Kang is pretty worthless, y'all. Melina still got Tarkat. Kenji still got his eyes poked out. And Bihan still died in the first game back. Cancel Christmas on Big Lou. But now we don't have a Sub-Zero, and we're gonna have to have a Sub-Zero because he's never missed a Mortal Kombat game. The only option we have is Frost. Now, we've heard them mention Frost in some of these character interactions, but we haven't really seen her outside of her cameo spot. We haven't seen her in an official capacity. But she will be back, and I think she will be back very soon, just not as Frost. We saw Noob Saibot escape the Temple of the Elements, and he told Sector, I'm not going back to Sub-Zero. I'm staying as I am right now. But he did say he was going back to the Lin Kuei. If he's not going to lead as Sub-Zero anymore, then I can only see him passing that mantle down to one of his trusted companions. And who is the only trusted companion we know? It's Frost. So unfortunately, I think Frost is going to be our new Sub-Zero until they reset the timeline again. But she doesn't have to be. Let's say Bihan has a sister that we don't know about. I like Frost, but if we're gonna do the whole gender bender thing for Sub-Zero, I would much rather see a new female character pop up and take his spot than a character that we've already had on the roster. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section, but thank y'all for tuning into this video. Don't forget to drop a like on it and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And don't say Hanzo Asashi is the new Sub-Zero in the comment section, because Sub-Zero is Lin Kuei. Period. Bomb Squad, let's get to that.